Here we are with Mrs. Coates at another Techie T-Bird tutorial. She's going to show us how to use the school sound system or the gymnasium sound system because she's such an expert, right, Mrs. Coates?
Yep.
Yep, she does this all the time. First thing you'll want to notice is there are lots of buttons right there. Now to turn it on, it's just a little bit confusing because the button that looks the most like an on-off button is the one that's lit up in red. That is not the on-off button. Can you point to that one, Mrs. Coates? Not that one. In fact, we're going to have Mrs. Richardson put a nice label on there. Don't switch that one. That's the surge protector. It should always be in the on position. Instead, we're going to push the on-off sequence button right next to the plug. If you hit that button, it's going to turn all things on in order. Go ahead and do it, Mrs. Coates. And then you'll notice lights turning on and lots of flashing and doing all sorts of cool techie stuff. After a while, it'll stop clicking and everything is on, ready to roll. Then you've got a few different things to work with. First off, in our drawers, right here beneath the CD player, if you open those up, you'll find the microphones. Go ahead and pull those open. And we like to have the two just ready at hand, wireless 1 and wireless 2. There are no wires to them. It's wonderful. Why don't you grab one of those, Mrs. Coates? And then let's look at the buttons on the wireless mic. There are, and I'm getting a glare here, there are two buttons. One is the on-off, and it's also the mute button. The other one's the select. Don't ever push the select button, because we don't know what it does. So point at the select button so we know which one to not push. Never that one. The other button we can push and hold to turn it on. Yeah, go ahead and turn it on for us. When you turn it on, oh, one of these batteries died when I was using them the other day. Try the other one. We also have extra batteries in this drawer if you need them. There you go. It flashes green and then it's ready to roll. You'll notice some numbers on there and they can be changed by the select, but they counsel us not to ever push select because it will mess it up. Why don't you say testing and make sure it's working?
Testing. Testing.
Louder. It's a microphone. There you go. So it's working wonderfully. Let's look at some of the knobs here, some of the buttons. This little dial right up here, put this one for us, up higher, go up, 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 right there. You really only have two choices on this, and this camera's not getting either one of them. Can I come in closer and see it? Almost. The two button choices you have, one says separate and one says combined. That just tells you how much of the gym is going to hear this. Separate means only the front will hear it. Combined means the whole gym will hear it. You want to keep separate on if you're using the sound system on a day that PE is going on so we don't interrupt them. Why don't we hit combined right now, Mrs. Coates? Now the whole gym's going to hear it. She's using microphone wireless number 1. So you can see right here on the knobs some things that say wireless 1, wireless 2, 3, and 4. Can you point to wireless 1's knob? That right there is the audio control for the microphone she's using. So why don't you turn it way up? And then say testing one more time.
Testing.
Oh my goodness, that was loud. How exciting. So put it back where it was. It's probably better where it was. Perfect. You'll notice wireless 2 was the other microphone there. We do have a wireless 3 and 4 because we have a few body pack microphones in there in the bags. If we look down the other knobs, you'll see CD player and MP3 player. This isn't coming out very well. Can you point at those for us, Mrs. Coates? CD player and MP3 player. Those control the volume for just those things. CD player, which is right here. Why don't you push the open for the CD player so we see the disc open. Boy, you're good on the fly finding all the buttons. Yep. There's your CD player, just like any old CD player. You pop a disc in there and you close it and you hit play right next to it and you can control the volume with the knob up above that says CD player. Let's close that. The next one is the MP3 player. Can you point at that one again? There you go. That can be used with any audio device you want to plug in. Its input are actually these red and white jacks right here. And in the same drawer as the microphone, you should find a cord that also have red and white jacks. There you go. Kind of looks red and gray, but we're going to pretend it's red and white. Those red and white jacks, why don't we plug those right in, Mrs. Coates? Go in that end, and let's pull the other end of that cord and see what we've got. The other end of the cord is just that basic. It's like a headphone jack. Ooh, that looks good. Nice job. You can plug that into your iPad. You can plug that into a little stereo you might bring down. You can plug it into anything that's got a headphone jack to play music. Then you just push play on that device. I often do it with my iPad as I'm in here for PE to play music as we're playing. And the volume, of course, gets controlled by the MP3 player. That's it. There's a lot of other switches on here, but we don't know what they do. So only use those ones. To turn it off, we're not going to push the bright red one. Which one are we going to do, Mrs. Coates?
The sequence button.
You got it. Let's do it. Hit it and turn it off. And you'll notice, just like before, it takes a moment. All the little lights start turning off slowly but surely. You don't have to linger for it. You can leave. It will do it all and get everything turned off. At that point, you have effectively used our gym's sound system. Nice job, Mrs. Coates.
Thanks.
Piece of cake, huh?
Yeah,
You do it all the time.
all the time.